Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. Today is Friday, it's June 29th, 2012. We'll be looking at the U.S. markets today, showing you why I'm not being a buyer of this market as far as the individual stocks go and individual averages. A couple days ago I sent out a video and I showed you some opportunities in commodities you could take advantage of, but I'm leaving stocks alone. I didn't short them and I didn't go long here. I'm just letting them rally, and I'm going to show you guys why and what I'm thinking here. Basically what we've had, let's start off looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And what we've had is a major move to the downside. We've been talking about this for a while here. Had some intermittent little rallies in there, and we talked about this one during this time here. It was a bearish setup. Basically you had the ultimate oscillator was rising in the corresponding time period. Of course, you can see the high close here, and the high close here was still trending down. This tells you that this rally is false. What I'm seeing here right now, this move right here, is actually just another one of these bear setups. It's a larger one, but it's just another one. What you want to do on these situations is wait for an opportunity to get short. To do that, you need to find the top, and to get that, you're going to have to look for a particular signal, and you want to look for a shooting star formation. That's why I didn't short this a few days back, or I said a week ago, back when we saw this pullback. We didn't have a shooting star formation at this point, so I was either going to miss the move to the downside, which does happen on occasion, but most of the time when you don't get a signal, a shooting star, and you start to sell off, what's happening is you're getting an intermittent sell-off. You haven't actually seen the high point yet. So now today's rally, we get a higher close than we saw back here, and that's fine. I want this to keep pushing, but I'm watching still for the shooting star formation because I believe this move is also false, and I'll prove it to you in another chart in a minute. But right now, the main thing to draw your attention to would be this high close here. The high point here on the ultimate oscillator is higher than you've had in the past, and if we continue to press higher, it will become even that much higher on the ultimate oscillator. It's higher than anything we've seen in the past. So what we're going to have is an uptrending move like this, and corresponding time frame here, you can look at the high close here, and then anything below this line is just going to be a downtrend, another larger bear setup telling you that this entire move is fake. It's going to get wiped out. So right now I'm not long. I'm looking for the short opportunity. I need a shooting star formation with confirmation, take advantage of that, tight stop, and trade it all the way down. Now let's have a look here at the NASDAQ. This is probably the most important chart that you're going to be looking at today. The main reason being that it's clearly telling you this is a false rally. A while back on the NASDAQ, back during this time period, we had a close down here. The following day, we saw a rally that took off and gave us this big move here. I told you that this gap right here was just too big. When you have a gap in the market, most of the time they're going to fill relatively quickly. But we don't pay a lot of attention to gaps, but on occasion we'll get massive gaps. Gaps are just simply too large to be sustainable. They have to backfill. And this is a situation we're looking at today. You can see that this closed down here, and then we get a bigger gap right here. So again, the same thing I told you back here about this is not sustainable, this is also not sustainable. This doesn't mean that I want to jump on it right now and start selling, because like back here you had that gap to the upside, and then you still had a couple of days to the upside before we got what I'm looking for, which is the shooting star formation right here. Nice long wick out of the top of this candlestick formation, showing that they've now hit some sell pressure. Then we want to see a series of lower lows and lower highs from one candlestick to the next, which we got the very next day. Let's take advantage of that. We start shorting, we make money on this trade. Look for another one, do the exact same thing, we make money on this trade. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm watching the NASDAQ, watching it rally. I can see just from today's big gap up here that this is not sustainable. Let it rally, let it find its peak, then get short. I wouldn't be a buyer here. If you are long, if you are bought it based on this hammer candlestick formation or something of that nature, you would have had to have actually bought the hammer itself, because you wouldn't have chased it this morning. But regardless what you did, simply advance your stop. You will eventually be stopped out. Like I said, this rally is false. The Russell 2000 Small Cap Index, the same basic thing here to show you. We don't have a big gap on this chart to show, so we don't have that factor, but we do have a massive bearish setup going on here. Note the high point here at 79.3, basically hitting this 80 line right there, which is actually higher than this high point here, so we're trending up at the corresponding time period for the highest close here and the highest close of today. You can see we are trending down. This is again telling you that this rally here is not sustainable. It will just collapse. So it's really not a matter of wanting to be a buyer here. You want to actually look for that telltale sign, a shooting star, confirmation the following day with lower high, lower low, get short and trade to the downside. The SPX, or the S&P 500 Large Cap Index, also confirms the same signal we've just shown you on every other chart. Bearish setup forming like we've seen before. We talked about this one back here, just like we did on the other charts, and now we're seeing yet another one. Look at this high close here, high point on the ultimate oscillator, and today's high higher than we've seen before, and that means that we have this uptrending line here, corresponding high point here, high close, and currently we can see that we are obviously still setting up a bear setup. This is again not something I want to short immediately. Wait for the right signal. Wait till you get a shooting star formation, then get short when you get confirmation. That's how I'm trading the U.S. markets. I'm not long this rally. I'm not believing that this 20th summit meeting is going to be creating any kind of a difference than what we have seen of any of the others. You get a little rally as people talk about, well, we're going to change something, and then they don't really change anything. The debt is still a debt. We still got to pay the debt down. We still got to cut spending. Everything means the same slowdown in the markets, blah, 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 blah. This is really getting old to talk about, but the reality of the situation here, I just don't want anybody buying this market thinking, okay, we had a big day to the upside, that means something has changed. No, it hasn't. The chart's clearly telling you nothing's changed. Same overall situation. We've got a bigger bear setup forming, and you want to get short when you get the opportunity. There are many other charts going around the globe that I can look at, and I will do that next week. I'll go over a few different charts that are opportunities as they set up. But I'm seeing, again, confirmation of the bear setup formation across the board. You can check out those charts on our free website at perfectstockalert.com. They're updated every single day with my chart annotations on there. So if you've not been to our free website at perfectstockalert.com, it's right there. It's 100% free. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. God bless. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And I will see you all on Monday. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. The information provided herein is our opinion only. Under no circumstances do any statements here represent a recommendation to buy or sell securities or make any kind of an investment. You are responsible for your own due diligence. To summarize, we do not provide investment advice, nor do we make any claims or promises that any information here will lead to a profit, loss, or any other result. These videos are for educational purposes only.